The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you.
The Lord said, "Woe to you, Pharisees! You pay tithes of mint and of rue and of every garden herb, but you pay no attention to judgment and to love for God. This you should have done without overlooking the others. Woe to you, Pharisees! You love the seat of honor in synagogues and greetings in marketplaces. Woe to you! You are like unseen graves, over which people unknowingly walk." Then one of the scholars of the law said to him in reply, "Teacher, by saying this, you are insulting us too." And he said, "Woe also to you, scholars of the law! You impose on people burdens hard to carry, but you yourselves do not lift one finger to touch them." Sisters and brothers, the Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
There was a story of a very religious family living in a well-off subdivision. But just across their place from their second floor window, you could see the slum area. And the families there living in a very poor condition, just exactly in contrast with their way of life. And this family is a prayerful family. And in their family prayer, the father would usually ask God to help these people alleviate in their sad condition. But after finishing one of their usual prayers, the son asked for his father's wallet. And he said, "Father, let us start doing something about our prayer. Maybe we could start buying something for them." In our gospel for today, we see the courage of Jesus. The courage to criticize and point out to the Pharisees and the scholars of the law their shortcomings. Jesus was just an ordinary man in the community. People were even wondering where did he get all this wisdom in his preaching. Technically to them, he was nobody. But amazingly, he was courageous enough to stand for what is right, to make a point to the big men in his time, and eventually to change the society. The question I have in my mind is, where is this courage coming from? Why was Jesus so powerful and authoritative? I think it was because Jesus was very authentic. He knew his identity, his purpose, and he had the courage to live them in words and deeds. And I think this is the very reason why it was very difficult to refute Jesus in all arguments, because he does what he preached. He was very authentic, and he was very transparent. This gave him the authority and power to pinpoint shortcomings in the society, to expose them, to make the unconscious conscious, and to lead them back to the right way, which eventually we call in the ministry Christ prophetic ministry. When we were baptized, we shared this ministry of Jesus, more so when we decided to follow Christ intimately through our vows, our perpetual vows, and our ordinations. I hope that as we share the same ministry of Jesus, we could also share the same authenticity, transparency, and ultimately the courage to walk our talk and to do something concretely with our prayers. And hopefully, like Jesus, we also share the same authority and power. Many of us have the courage to criticize others and speak for what is ideal. But oftentimes, We lack either authority or power or both. Our words are just banging cymbals, meaningless and hollow, often no power and no authority. I do not know with you, but in my case at times, I feel I lack courage to stand for what is right, to raise a point which I think is correct and ideal. At times. Why? Because I know that deep inside I have less authority to no authority at all. When I fully know the ideals but deliberately choose to do otherwise. I know that I could have done better with my decisions but chose the easier and comfortable way. And that at times, just like any other, I'm also stuck in my room within the confines of my comfort zones, with all my prayers and plans and missions, but with no corresponding actions at all. How am I supposed to talk about authority, about immersion, when I don't even know my flag? How am I supposed to talk about interdependence when I don't even know the needs of my brothers? Because I care less to visit them, to spend time with them in our community gatherings and our activities. When I even fail to listen to them because all I want is to be heard. How am I supposed to talk about integrity when I live my life, my vows, my oblation half-heartedly? I am just the same as they are. Sometimes even worse. Sometimes I feel that like any other, I'm just good in words but not in deeds. Best in calling meetings, formulating plans and words that just end up in drawers and cabinets. Authors of books, very nice to read but never really implemented. Efficient in doing what makes me happy but not what makes God happy. Today, our gospel challenges us to imitate Christ, and that as we imitate Christ, we may also have that courage, that authority and power we see in Jesus. That we don't just simply pray, but do something about our prayers. That we don't just simply talk about love, about charity, about mission. I guess the greater challenge is to put deeper meaning of this through our actions. That we may be able to powerfully preach God's love through our actions primarily, and if necessary, by our words. We can only have that courage, authority, and power if we are convinced that we have sincerely tried our best at all times to do the right thing. As we see in the life of Jesus, to be authentic, to be transparent, to walk our talk. In the life of Saint Eugene de Massillon, we would notice that he fell in love 4 times. He fell in love first to the cross of Jesus. Second, he fell in love to Mary. Third, he fell in love with the church. And fourth, he fell in love with the mission. This love did not just remain a feeling, but propelled him to do something, and that gave birth to our congregation. It is always a challenge to do more than just saying our masses and prayers. We are not just simply contemplative, but we are also apostolic. Like Jesus, our model, we have to lead people closer to the Lord in our words and in our deeds. And as Eugene would say, lead them to be humans, to be Christians, and to be saints.